Hello there, Pisces. I must tell you, I'm a little bit nervous stepping into your sign. Whether that's me or whether that's the energy here, it's really interesting to be experiencing this along with you guys. In my chart, there's nothing in Pisces, nothing. And I have Piscean friends, but it's interesting to see what goes on underneath the surface, the fish that's down below, and that churning and yearning and burning energy that's going on. It feels very unsteady, but I would assume to a fish it feels very normal. But I do my best to help y'all here and to bring in the insight of what's going on. Right around now, there's lots of shifts going on. There's not just all the planets and their stuff. It's almost like there's a new theme of the month coming along, and April showers bring May flowers. So, anyways, your the way your spread came out is totally different, which would make sense. So I pull overarching cards before I start to get the energy of what's going on, and then sometimes a couple of runes, and then some of these like decisive cards that I have written out. But y'all ransacked that. You can totally took it over and said hijack that thing and said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And I said, oh, okay. So it's taken me a little while to get comfortable in this. I would say settled, but there's no settling to it. Um, it's fantastic nonetheless. But being that you're very creative and very like conceptual, rather than just give an overarching and start heading into tarot, you're like, just give us the pictures, just give us the pictures. It's like that's what you're wanting to see and know. It's as if like to use a photograph. So we're just going to go there. That's what we're doing. So 5 overarching cards came out, and they're split down the middle. And I can see on the one hand and then on the other. I do feel like the one hand is going to be more of a departure, because that is an overarching theme that is going on across mankind. Is there is an opening window that has about 8 years to it. Not 8 years that it lasts, but it's really this pointing your ship in the direction that you want to go, and it's being able to divorce, dissolve, leave behind our conditioning as to how we grew up, our adaptations, our survival mode, those sort of things. It's not just when you were a child, it's anything up till now. And being able to transcend and pass into the new world, the definition of what you enjoy. Yeah, yeah. And for one of the other readings, it was very simplified like this: is the people's company you enjoy to keep, they often have facets of personality that resonate with your own. And like I love cheerfulness, and so cheerfulness is in my nature. And I've made a point that if I find myself bogging or getting anything sideways of cheerfulness, it's like, whoo, joy, come on back to who you are, bring it back to center. There's so much going on with balance, which has shown up just in the preliminary part of your reading. I haven't pulled any tarot, but this was for overarching energies, right? And you're like, give us more, give us more, give us more. When I was pulling out one of my tarot decks, almost the whole center tried to birth out. And I said, I see you guys. So you're eager, you're ready to find out what's going on here. I'm going to head straight up the center. And in the center, we have got this card, Between Worlds. And I don't do reversals. And it came out upside down. So, it's really not just living between worlds, but being upside down. It's time to unearth that, what's underneath. I have to bust some uglies on y'all. I didn't like it. I almost wanted to skip the reading, but the way to say it is learning to trust people. Um, and by that, you defined it in the terms of, well, no one's worthy of it. And I can see why. That you've interviewed people, you examine them, like you're living and smiling and all up here, but down underneath there's like the the observer going on, which is slightly jaded, jaundiced, cynical. Not all those. It's little particles of that, and it throws you off balance. And sorry, let me shut this off. It can throw you off balance and leave you wanting. And that's where I want to step in is we're here to enjoy our lives and to live satisfying lives and fulfilling lives. And so it's time to dive down to that lower world and see some of what was going on, some of those hidden parameters, default modes, things like that. Don't want to get too wordy because you get the gist of what I'm saying. So anyways, off to the side, this is the one world that we're checking out here on the one hand, right? On the one hand and on the other. Well, this is on this hand. And generally, right is deemed as the past. So anyways, we've got chopped wood and happy, happy. All right? And what you were telling me through this is that there's an idea that you have to work really hard to be happy, to truly have this genuine good feeling. There's an abiding sense of it, a knowledge of its existence, and awareness of its presence, but not the full-blown experience like you see on others. And it seems to be fleeting, almost like a river. It passes through, and then it goes beyond you, and it leaves you missing and wanting. And I believe if we dig in, we can... Sorry, we got another. We can find... some patterns of truth in you. So we're going to stick with what else came out over here. And it's like, please clarify this with some more oracles. And I thought, oh, okay, so let's go. And here out came two somber women. Whether some of this was examples you had witnessed in your life of how other people coped and dealt. Like, if the house is in order, then I'll be happy. Oh, wow. When then? Ooh, man, that's one that we all have to face. When things go like this, then I'll be happy. When I have this, then I'll be happy. When the work's done, then I'll have fun. And that's great. That's great to have a mindset like that, but to let it be the priority operating system, as we're seeing during this nice time of sequestering and quarantine and things, is not always the best option. To know that you're the captain of your ship. You can change things up. You can give yourself permission to cut loose, to let go, to have fun. The world will not fall apart. All right? So what I see life trying to offer you here is, I would say, more structure and stability, and that doesn't mean rigid. It means foundational, principle-based. Principles can flex. They can, and that's an overarching theme for everybody this month, about being flexible as the shifts and change occur. Not just going with the flow. It's a little bit, has a little bit more hidden structure than that. So anyways, it was... and the irony here is, time's running out. Get to work. And I thought, what? What are you talking about? Well, it's the awakening of the gifts. It's taking off the poker face and beginning to step into your spirit, and that giving yourself permission to flex and flow, okay? Because time is short. Life is short. Let's sum it as that. And here I believe she's bringing golden wisdom. Where this one, it's like that spinning, that fleetingness, that world programming of the mind. And it's being able to take charge of your mindset and find what really works for you. Okay? Hopefully this is making sense. As I said, I'll go ahead and confess being behind the scenes of Piscean energy is it's eye-opening. And thank you. I really hope the best for y'all being able to establish these new principles for your life, to find the reward of being able to trust people and have that accountability of relationship, of connection, of sharing and exchange that is beautiful and fluid and solid. Yeah. So, on the other hand, okay, these two. All right. So actually, I think they look more like that. That's how they look on my table. Exchanging gifts and come to the edge. So really, it's kind of like get ready to take a leap of faith. To gifts. Our greatest gift is who we are, sharing of ourselves. Thus the trust, and that's where we're going to come to, because this side I pulled 2 runes, and it unfolded the topic a little bit more. Here we've got this one. It came out reversed, and again, it was flipping and flopping between the name of rebirth and growth, rebirth and growth. And it was like, okay, we need to pick and commit. We need to pick and commit. But again, it's almost like back to those particles, that Piscean, that Neptune. I have a lot of Neptune, so I can tune into that part. It's like the plasma state of matter. It's like these little particles combining to become something new. It's like a little bit of this, a little dab of that. And the message I got is try again. Things may not have worked before, but it is the time to try again. Remember that being between worlds. And it's not a half-hearted try. It's straight up vulnerability. It's offering the opportunity of a clean slate to yourself, and that involves a bit of a learning curve. But, y'all are going for happiness here. That it's no longer hard work, that it's an experience, okay? And so just take it as an experience. Let your spiritual side be present, but not overactive, not concealed, not the poker face, all right? Because that, I would say, that puts you at an advantage and others at a disadvantage. Really, it puts everyone at a disadvantage, because there's already kind of some preconceived notions going on there, and playing into a game that people don't even know is going on. And by game, I mean certain expectations that they're not even aware of, and so they will utterly fail and let you down. I've probably been one of them. I apologize in advance right now, and to anybody that I've done that to before, please forgive me. So this one, it spoke into the message of balance, and to go there, I need to just go ahead and step into the other one. Okay, you see a sky. By nature, to get to the face of it, I flipped it, and when I flipped it, I realized that, because it was on the blank side, that it had been upside down. So, but that's how things have been in some of the readings this week. Is we're at that flip-flop. We're at that turning point. Thus, why time is short. And it's not like, whoo, time is short, get my hackles up, get myself nervous. It's really just like, okay, let me be fully present then. Let me make the most of this time. And this one is the spiritual warrior. And when I thought of it as to what I saw going on, it really had, which if it would have come out this way, and when I flipped it, it's like roots and foundational beliefs of what's going on. It's kind of going back to, putting on the face that everything's okay, being that for other people, but no one really knowing the truth so that they can be that for you. That composure that can mask. Wow. Okay, this is for me too if I get to speak it. So I'm listening as well. Let's just say it. It's the mask without a mask. Wow. Okay. The strong one, the one who holds it together. We're washing that away right now, giving you permission to be human, to enjoy life, to step into the pleasure, the experience, and the opportunity. So when I looked at this, I had to jot down some notes because it was, again, just kind of moving around. Give me a sec to look and see. Yeah. Cleaning the slate, balancing the scales. Okay, whether they were off balance intentionally or not is totally irrelevant. It does not matter. We're not stepping back that far. It's unknown. It's just irrelevant. But I talked about making room for others in your life. It says you've been weighing them and finding them coming up unworthy, and that's because the scales are not balanced. The previous rune, it talks about giving yourself an advantage of putting your wants above others' needs. And I can't say like greedy. I think it's really just wanting to know how things are going to go. And it could make sense with this kind of energy that's turning and moving and switching and flipping and particling and taking a little piece of this, a little dab of that. Yeah, I see why you'd want to stabilize and strengthen things in that way. It's not that you won't have that. It's just that has kept life imbalanced for you, and hasn't allowed other people the opportunity of enjoying the fabulous person that you are. Okay? So we're going in, we're balancing the scales, because when they're balanced, you will begin to feel differently. It's not about being up in the mind. It's something that when we're not even aware that was an issue, we don't get to the heart of truth. And not truth of the mind, but reality, actuality. Okay? Actuality. So these kind of confirmation cards, I pulled them down the center to help go ahead and manifest some awareness and change for being between the worlds. So I want you to have the best opportunity at this, the greatest of ease with it, so that things become memorable in a beautiful way. They make a good impression with you. This experience that you're happy to jump in and keep moving forward with it, because life is short. I want you to live a delicious, juicy life, and also want us to be able to get to tarot to pick the brains of whatever else is going on, unless this is really all you want, and I'll be happy to stay right here with you. So the first card says, today is a new day. You can do anything you'd like. It kind of goes back to this. I do get that there was some rigid feminine type energy, and the feminine is supposed to be softer and a bit more playful, abstract, creative. And so giving yourself permission to do anything you'd like. It's wiping away those preconceived notions, those parameters that were there before, just kind of holding you in check and holding you in play. And at the bottom of the deck of these cards is this. That's it. It's feeling like you've been played. That's tense. And mentally, that's intense. So here, giving you permission. Today's a new day. You can do anything you like. Begin to embrace it. And then I like this one. Delight yourself. Make it happen. So remember it's saying putting your wants above other people's needs. it would make sense with the two fish and the cycling and the moving. It's kind of like Libra having to work with that scale, is thinking, if I want something, then how does it fit into things? Now, if you want something, give yourself permission. Bless yourself. Give it to yourself. If you like gifts, buy yourself a gift. If you like pretty wrapping, take it to be wrapped. Or wrap it yourself and then set it aside in a closet for when you're having that moment, and go and pick a pre-wrapped gift for yourself. If you like to laugh and you're still stepping tentatively towards allowing people in to be worthy of trust, put on a funny movie. Find a funny video. I had one sent to me today and I laughed. I laughed so hard I cried and I cried and I cried, and I was laughing all by myself out on that beach, and that's okay. I can do that. But I got to delight myself, and I got it there. If I need to go back and laugh again, it was fantastic, I must say. And then I love these three all popped out together, and I tried to go again and it just wouldn't stop. They threw back out again. So most definitely, I love the stars. It's time to shine. It's time to feel shiny, to feel exuberant, effervescent, bubbly, enthusiastic. It's time for you to feel like this, without the hard work. That it's not hard work, it's our nature, it's our birthright, really. I believe we're all made of happiness. And there shouldn't have to be sacrifices made. Sometimes there's that conditioning when you're young that's almost frivolous and needs to be put aside while we handle more serious matters. And when the world is stable and all good, then we can have a little crack of the jar, a little nip, a little this, a little that. And sometimes it's that intense restriction that can lead to the excess. And I don't think I need to say more because I'm getting a clear picture. But y'all know what I'm talking about there for each of you. I want you to be pleased with who you are and to like it and not to feel pulled about by that. I want you to be free fluid with your happy every day and delight in yourself, okay? All right, so okay, this one's screaming at me. So we're going to go right here. I know what. Because of all the cards, I'm not going to step into the format that I have been using. It's extremely in-depth. I want to go a different route. And my stars, lovers, guides, and friends, give me some good news. For Pisces here, we would love... What the heck? No. That was like a bird dropping. I didn't like that. Not what was there, it just... And that's not, We're looking for the happy, happy. Show us some happy, happy for Pisces and a card of clarity, please, to give it a little balance. Let's see what's going on here for Pisces. The stars, lovers, guides, and friends. Thank you for the wisdom. Anything else? We'll give it a couple more turns around to see. Woo! Half the deck flipped. Yeah, those are there. All right, we're gonna go with that. It's big, but so are you guys. Okay, you can do that. Okay, so this is first. Trying to make room. See how many we've got here. You were in the middle, but you came out last. All right. I still feel a little bit of the picking sides, the choosing sides. I don't know. Y'all know who that's for. Again, my readings are simply here to provide information and a different perspective, like road signs along your journey, that through meditation, reflection with your spirit, you know what applies to your life. But maybe for many of you, but definitely for some of you, there was taking sides in your home, whether it's your your birth family or your chosen family, meaning your marital family, if you're married, um, or the family you were born into. And it's coming up in a variety of ways. Say you're married and you don't even have kids, it's your spouse favoring their birth family, or say their mother's advice or their brother's advice over you, and you feel thrown under the bus. Okay, you feel diminished in some way. Maybe the first one that definitely came out was, this is beach hair. I find it interesting that I got to be in the sea before I come to the Pisces. A little side note there. But the first impression that was quite large was in the home with a sibling. There was a parent that you need love from, that there's not a better word than utterly diminished who you are, okay? As to like, the sibling was everything and you were nothing. And you would try and you were nothing. And you would be loving and you were nothing. It's almost like you weren't there. You were there like to hear their commentary about the other person, but you felt invisible, like you didn't exist for anything other than dismissive ridicule are the words that are coming. And it wasn't necessarily words that they gave, it was an air and attitude, okay? A stance of sorts. But anyways, so there's some of that favoritism going on. Very strong of why I keep seeing on this hand and on this, and why they came out in 3 clumps. And the first is beautiful, because it just came tagging in on this other energy of what we saw going on here in the revelation that you were getting, that you have permission to delight yourself, and that today's a new day, and most definitely. But then it took us back to the past. I think it was those, we're looking at the scales now. Remember that there were foundational things that were imbalanced, that were needing to balance the scales. And so much of modern age has come about self-help and all this transformative habit forming and changing this and doing this and that. I think sometimes just bringing awareness to it has been huge. It has for me, who's done decades of self-help even before the books existed. I don't know, I was already tuning in as a tiny child like that. And let me tell you, there's like this wavelength open right now of really just being able to turn over a new leaf. Okay? And that's why I say I give you permission to this and permission to that. Is a lot of these things were formative. They happened when we're very vulnerable, and so in a sense we were kind of under someone else's authority, and therefore we feel subject to it as if it comes as part of the package deal. Like if you're in the South, grits come with breakfast, whether you like it or not. So here I'm seeing that there was healing going on. It's not dark in the sense of what we see it. It's like resting and light, resting and light. It's transpiring over a number of days. And this is like the recovery. So that's why I'm starting over here. It's like before I get to the good stuff. It's like the recovery of your childhood, your innocence, your this, as opposed to this. And anyone who knows life is short is someone who's had quite a bit of it living in this format. Okay? So I know what they say 6 of Swords is, but I don't see it so much as calmer waters. I see it as like the clarity, but it's still being between the worlds. Can you see? Because here, these are like shadows of the mind. It's like cobwebs almost. It could be words that were spoken over you. It could be ideas that you carry about yourself, however it showed up through media or some ill-meaning child on the playground one time when you were little. It doesn't matter, but it's the mind is still divided here as to how you see it. And these are bringing you, moving you, and you see that there's a suitcase that she has. There's baggage coming along with it. Well, we're dropping that bag off. You got a new life coming. Remember, if it's something you want, you're going to make it happen. Delight yourself. You can do anything you like. You don't need that dark, dingy baggage. You don't need the old weights of yesterday. It's not just WEIGHTS, it's WAITS, waiting on the world to change. Give yourself permission to be light, to be free. I love the spot of red in this. It's really, we could say fate or destiny. It's really just persevering in my mind of the holding on, the believing. You wouldn't have been able to endure all this if you didn't deep inside somewhere believe, sense, hope that there was a brighter day coming. Okay, and that leads us to here. All right, so we stepped on forward to the 10 where you're leaving them all behind. Because that's the thing. It might have been that divided mind, but somehow they all still found you. And you've turned your back on the noise, and you're leaving it behind. I love that there's a bit of a freedom. Have her little wrap skirt going on over the swimsuit, and the day is dawning. It's looking out over a new horizon and seeing that, like this, the hope, that little seed of hope is starting to dawn. It's starting to sprout from the ground, that there's something tangible happening around you. Remember, that's my hope for you, is to make this easy, that it's not just words, but that people begin to delight you by honoring your trust, because it's given wholeheartedly and without condition, right? Because if it's given with condition, they can only fill the requirements that you set out. But that was a mindset that you didn't even know was there. Okay, you didn't know you had the option. You didn't know you had permission to do anything you like. That if you didn't like feeling that way, that you didn't have to feel that way. You know how you like to feel. You know whose company you enjoy. Embody those characteristics that they have. Allow them to awaken and arise in you and surface. All right? And so from the 10 of Swords, we move over to the Page of Pentacles. And in this one, it again is that tangible, that like the sunrise is here, okay? That it really is being left behind, that the light really is rising inside of you, that you really are allowed to join the human race and feel comfortable and secure and reciprocated. Yes! To feel reciprocated and truly connected, and to feel like somebody's got you, that they see you, right? So I love that here this person is standing on that. They're standing on it. They're bringing it into life. They're holding it over their heart, and they're standing upon it. And so it's like, you've already got it set here, but that's a reminder now that we've shifted into the earth form from the mind into the earth form, is don't let it move you. Do not let those old things step back in and call that poker face. Right now I'm giving you the awareness of whatever that poker face feels like, what it feels like, and that when you feel it happening on you, that just you get that permission to wake up, to snap to. We're putting your happy in charge of that, to tap you on the shoulder and be like, no, don't go there, and you go, okay, I can do this, I can stand my ground. Why? Because I want to be happy and it's not hard work. Why? Because today's a new day and I can do anything I like. Why? Because I have permission to delight myself and to love and be loved, to be a part of this world and to enjoy all that it has to offer me. Okay? And from there, I love it. We're stepping into more gold. We've got all these warm colors coming up. Okay? So to me, gold's more like the will. It's the the commitment to yourself, not just like the hard grit edge, dirt in your teeth type of will, but more of determination to live this life that you've been given, this beautiful offering, to be able to stand your ground knowing that there's more. You could not have made it this far and persevered. What you have, if some part of you didn't know that it was worth it. And that's my prayer, that this connection that we're having right now set you free to be genuinely happy, to shine and be beautiful, and to enjoy time with others, knowing that part of that enjoyment is them getting to enjoy you. To know what you're feeling is others feeling you, and you getting to feel them. I pray that resonates on a deep level. The words sound like flippant, but you'll know it, you'll see it. So anyways, that's coming from your heart. Your heart being able to shine. I could say transform, but really it's permission to be free, to be seen, to remember the bottom fish, like for y'all, the between the worlds isn't quite this way and that way. It's been more like that, okay? But here we go, right there, right there. And that comes from being able to delight yourself and knowing that putting energy towards things that you enjoy is valid and worthwhile. And from there we go into the Four of Swords. And I know this could seem like, now you can heal. Yes, that's true. But the way these cards play out, if you see them here, I guess I could do this. Give me a sec. All right, everybody. No, it goes this way. Oh, here we go. Can you see? So where I say dark, I really mean like night, nightfall. We got dark, light, dark, light, dark. I saw it as like a passage of time, day by day. You know, in just a matter of time, each day there's a new dawning, that it builds, it develops. Okay. And that would go along with why y'all were calling this both rebirth and growth. Rebirth, because there's that changing of the scales, there's doing away with that poker face of thinking you have to work hard in order to enjoy, and that you have to have this dual existence of putting this, down beneath, while meanwhile up top, give me a sec, y'all are so patient. Meanwhile up top, this is how you're feeling, right? Okay? Look at all that. Look at all that. Can you see the celebration, the contentment, the peace? That is your birthright. Okay? That's a good word for it. That makes a lot of sense. I hope that makes sense to you, that is your birthright. And that's what you're embodied to live and to enjoy like anyone else. While still being uniquely you. So that's where I see the Four Swords, the healing coming along, and it's your heart healing. The day by day, that weight, the encumbrances, the separation, they just fade. They recede as the light comes and the smiles come, and it won't be overwhelming. It won't be too fast. It'll be at a pace that is developmental. Grow and stabilize, grow and stabilize. Okay. I know that. So, your last. Here we're going to step into these. And I love that they went over here underneath the waiting woman and the poker face. We got the Magician and the Nine of Pentacles. You really have a magic air about you. See, this is beneath the surface, right? And it's working that magic, taking the light, moving it down in the depths, and bringing it back up and moving it through. And just letting it continue to flow. And it's bending and flexing and moving it around and looking it through different perspectives. Trying, I'd say experimenting, but really that's a bit rigid. It's really just experiencing life and kind of chalking it up in your mind, well, that's a dish I wouldn't want to eat again. That wasn't my favorite, but I had a great time with my friends. It's being able to let those scales, the things weigh out of what, yeah, like that baggage. Taking, whoop, taking what is good and leaving the rest behind, you know? Um, and that leads to that personal fulfillment and happiness. And it's tangible, it's sensory, like you can feel it. Remember how we gave your happy permission to feel when the poker face is coming on, to feel that maybe it's a tightening in your shoulders and your neck, maybe it's like a creepy kind of shrinky vibe that you get, maybe it's that your mind feels very harsh towards yourself, but you begin to feel that and you shake it off. And you keep doing that, you begin to have these tangible feelings that get to take the seat of the poker face. They begin to be the new default, the new mechanism of the mind and of the self. That turning of the page, turning over the new leaf. It's not so much habit forming, it's really, I see it, it's developmental. That's why no harsh goals coming about or win-ins or any of that. It's being able to take in the process organically like a child does day by day, right? It's a building process. Okay. So when I first did the Wisdom Oracle cards, 2 cards came right out and they just felt flat. And I was like, we can't do that. That's flat. It's like opening a book that there's only a cover and a back. There's no book in the middle, but it was building blocks and it was no place like home. And I saw it and I knew it was relevant, but there was no story in it. Y'all are crafty and creative. You taking me on your journey. Thank you for including me. But that's what we're returning to right here. It's the day by day, the building blocks, the tangible sensory experience, memories. Oh, yes. Fun new memories. That's why they're up on a tree like fruit. She can go and pick them anytime she wants. These new memories, these new mindsets, because you didn't have to bring that old baggage. You didn't have to bring that old bag, that old poker face. No, you could get rid of her, rid of it, rid of that. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a female, but remember, it had to do with that softness, that creativity, that receptivity, that it became harsh and dry. And just like those first 2 cards, there was no story in there. And life's for the living, right? It's too short. You're here to have the happy, to get to enjoy it, to have the experience. And I love that as we're talking about this and you guys are hearing it, your energy is shifting and changing. I love it. It's become very plasmatic as opposed to watery, because that watery was almost causing a bit of confusion as to what's your movement versus the currency of the water. But there's a new no better word than relishing to it. And I like that you're sharing that with me. I like that that's awakening in you. That's fantastic. That's pleasurable. Wow. I'm happy for you guys. Okay, so straight up the middle, which, by the way, one of the times I put the card back down about between the worlds, it was insistent that I turn it upright. So it's really been bringing things into balance. It's almost like the hemispheres of the brain becoming whole-brained. That doesn't have to be a this or that. It doesn't have to be weighed. It can be, oh, y'all are geniuses. Man. I have a precious Piscean friend who's a yoga teacher. Jump on this side story with me, okay? Buckle up. And around the new year, we were in class, and she talked about her word for the year or word for the season, which is kind of how I go. Because once my word is achieved, I move forward in life, right? And so it was really our word for the season. And it took a few days. And I was in her class and in the middle of a pose, and bam, there it came. And the word was integrate. That's so funny. And I love her. Love her. She's a fantastic person. So I get you guys through that. What I didn't get in the beginning is how difficult it has been for you all having to have that suppressed state. And you don't. We love your plasmatic self. Bring your whole brain self, your beautiful mind, your creative expression, your delightful love for humankind. I love it. Life's a party. So, underneath that is Temperance and the Queen of Swords. I think these are just, I'd say clarifying, but really they're like, word up. I second that. That's kind of what they're saying here. Is really because her mind is steady. You know, that her sword isn't all the way up. It's like, I got it here if I need it. I got my mind in check. Ooh, she's flying. I put old happy up on it. She's going to keep an eye out for this. She's got to keep an eye out for that poker face and move her on if that tries to come on back, because I'm here to enjoy my life and to delight myself and make it happen, to give myself permission to be fantastic. So anyways, and then Temperance, it really is just the balance. Balancing your brilliant shininess and your depth of perception, as well as those dark feelings and moments. They don't need to be tempered in the sense of pretending they are going ahead and making mud. Okay, don't put these together and make mud. We got her. Thank you, sister. We're putting her down right now. Blue skies, right? Smiling at me. But here it's don't make mud. If there is a dark moment or a dark feeling, don't put on the poker face, right? That's the exchanging of gifts, the exchanging of yourself, coming to the edge of what you've been comfortable with. All right? Coming to the edge, which it has shrunk over time. There's not much left anyway, and taking the plunge into trusting these relationships, because as we stand upon our legs, that's when we know what they're made of, the strength. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, you find out what a woman's made of when you put her in hot water. So it's kind of like that. It's testing in the sense of not, I'm going to find out what you're made of, but it's taking those remember the day-by-day steps, the tentative steps of building new memories, exchanging the old poker face for real, tried and true. Boy, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Gosh, I appreciate that they took time out for me, or so-and-so gave me a kind word. However it is, it's really that we can handle your darkness. If we get the privilege of being a part of your life, share it with us. Share it with us. Because I don't love just part of you. I love all of you. And whatever that day entails, or that moment, or that minute, it's an honor to get to be there with you in it. But that's the unique thing about your nature. It can change like that again. You get some rest. You do a little, self-care. You go to bed a little early maybe, or nuzzle up in some covers and watch a movie that makes you cry or makes you laugh. Either counters that emotion or goes right into it. Okay? And when you get rest, when you go to sleep, you wake up, it's like a new day has dawned. Okay? It's like that's been left behind. That's what I really see in the balance. So I give you permission to rest too. I love it. As Cindy from Awakening to Spirit says, if you haven't seen her, go there. She is beautiful and fantastic and colorful, but she is genuine, 100% clear. She doesn't add or take away. She says what she sees, and that's all she's doing is sharing information. But she says, be gentle with yourselves. I love that. And coming from a fiery personality like her, I've got quite a bit of fire too. That is what I hear. At the heart of hearts, from spirit to spirit, be gentle with yourselves. Give yourself that minute or that moment to draw away at times even. To have that reflection until you even know how to share. But do take those baby steps. Do come on out. Do trust us. Not everybody, but you'll feel certain little people, like a little fingering or tickling of your heart of, well, maybe, just maybe I could share this thing with so and so. Take those baby steps. Build those good memories. And these aren't just fun party memories. It's literally like shields of trust. That worked out. That worked out. Confidence. There we go. Confidence in the connection. That's about all I have to say. I hope this helps you. I hope it helps you to see more clearly into what you've been experiencing. And it's not about what I say. What I say is just information. It's about what you're hearing, what is on your heart. And for those of you who were diminished in any way in your life, or made you feel less than, or that others were picked or chosen over you, I choose you. You're beautiful. You persevered things that darkness and loneliness that other people couldn't even conceive. And how quickly your energy shifted, moved, and changed into a different state of openness and readiness is an honor to get to be a part of. And to know you've got all these things coming. Your rapid change. It's turning that new leaf. It's not the habits. Okay? I'm going to tie it down here and leave it with that. Wishing you the best and some beautiful, restful sleep, some revitalization of your beautiful soul. Remember to delight yourself and make it happen. I love you, friends. Bye.